I said that, from a Muslim perspective, the question that we're asked to ask is, bring the evidence, yeah? If I were to bring reasonable evidence, which would satisfy some kind of probabilistic reasoning, that the Prophet Muhammad, we believe is the final prophet, right? That he was a true prophet, would you be willing to become a Muslim?
I wouldn't.
Here we have Muhammad Hijab trying to convince Jordan Peterson to convert to Islam. You have one of the greatest Muslim content creators, Muhammad Hijab, inviting an even bigger personality, Jordan Peterson, to Islam in front of both of their huge audiences. This is a big deal, especially for Muslims. And Muhammad Hijab knows how big of a deal this is. So he has obviously prepared and has come here with the best arguments for Islam. So this is a great opportunity for us to see what the best arguments for Islam are.
This inimitability challenge is to produce something as sophisticated as it in terms of the linguistic composition as well as the structural component. This is very interesting because now even Western academics like Angelica Neuris and others have said that this challenge has not been met. It's a German Orientalist. She's recently said this.
Okay, so obviously Muhammad Hijab has to start with this argument, especially because this is the argument that the Quran provides for why Islam is the true religion. The entirety of the argument is the Quran is so awesome that you cannot come up with a more awesome book than the Quran. And that's a miracle, and that's why Islam is true. I'm serious, that's actually the argument. The awesomeness of the Quran is claimed to be a miracle that proves that Islam is true. And Muslims seem to actually believe that this is a good argument, so much so that they proudly present it as an argument for the validity of Islam. And you can see here now Muhammad Hijab is giving this argument to Jordan Peterson. It's so embarrassing. It's just so embarrassing. The argument is actually a challenge. Like the Quran is challenging you. Like, oh, you think the Quran is not real? Do you think Islam is not true? Well, let's see if you can even bring up a couple of verses or a chapter like a Quran. Let's see, can you do it? You can't? See, you can't, so Islam is true. The obvious problem with this challenge is who is supposed to decide what is better? The challenge hasn't been defined. What are the metrics? How are we measuring? What are the standards? Who are the judges? It's a very badly defined challenge. Like good challenges are challenges where you know clearly what the criteria of winning are. There is no explanation in the Quran about how we're supposed to win this challenge. When you don't even define the rules of the challenge, it's easy to always just claim that you lost based on made-up criteria that somebody comes up with after they try to meet the challenge. And people have tried to meet the challenge. And guess what? They've been in prison for it. I don't understand. God is inviting you to challenge his book, and then people say, attempt the challenge, and Muslims get angry, and you go to jail for it. Like, what are you supposed to do? God is inviting you to a challenge. Why are people going to jail for it? By the way, the Quran sucks. So most books have already met the challenge without even trying. I've read the Quran a couple of times. It's truly horrible. It repeats the same points over and over again, and sometimes it tries to tell you a story and then cuts off in the middle of the story and starts talking about some random nonsense somewhere else, and then picks up the story again, maybe in a different chapter, while starting out from the beginning again, which is like, dude, like what the hell? Like there's no structure. It's all random. It's all over the place. So many times it just starts talking about something that you need a whole bunch of hadith and interpretation to make sense of it. I mean, I don't even say this. The Muslim scholars actually admit this. Many things in the Quran makes absolutely no sense unless you read it within the context of the hadith and sirah and a whole bunch of tafsir. It's a really horrible book, both when it comes to storytelling and structure. And the history of Islam is filled with so-called scholars that can't even agree over the meaning of simple verses. Imagine how much Allah must suck at communication that even scholars in Arabic language cannot agree about the meaning of its verses.
So we have a range of predictions, even that relate to the current day. The Prophet said that the barefooted Arab, يَتَطَاوَلُونَ فِي الْبُنْيَانِ, they will be competing for the highest building.
Here we see Muhammad Hijab attempting another popular yet pathetic attempt at proving Islam, which are prophecies. There are a lot of claims by Muslims that Islamic scriptures have prophecies in them that have came true, and you can see how pathetic they are using one of these examples that Muhammad Hijab have just provided here. Just remember again that these are supposed to be the best arguments. Muhammad Hijab has shown up here with the best excuses for why Islam is true, and he's providing him these in front of thousands and thousands of people from his audience and Jordan Peterson's audience, and a lot of expectations. He's providing you with the best arguments, and from among the prophecies that he has presented with Jordan Peterson, let's look at this one and see how good of a prophecy it is. The prophecy refers to this hadith that says that at some point, barefoot, naked, destitute shepherds will be competing in constructing tall buildings. And for some odd reason that nobody has been able to explain except the fact that it makes it convenient, they have taken the barefoot, naked, destitute shepherds to mean Arabs. Now remember, it doesn't say anywhere in the hadith that these are Arabs. So now they're looking at all the tall buildings that they're building in Gulf Arab cities like Dubai, and they're like, see, it came true, oh prophecy, oh my god, Allahu Akbar. It came true, subhanallah. Islam is true. Do I really need to explain why this is so dumb? Ever since humans learned how to build buildings, they started competing and making them taller and taller. This is not something new. They're like acting like this is something that just started in modern times. Also, if this was supposed to be a prophecy that was supposed to impress us, impressive enough to make it a proof for Islam, then it should have said Arabs. It could have just said Arabs. These are like Arabs in this place will eventually make tall buildings. Even if it said that, which tribe doesn't boast about its people eventually making it big? It's not at all clear who the hadith is referring to. When is it talking about? What building? This is your prophecy? Imagine how bad all the prophecies are in Islam, that if they want to pick and choose among the prophecies as one to present to you, for you to be impressed, these are the ones that they have to go to. Makes you wonder how bad the other ones are. Do you want to know how bad the other ones are? You do want to know how bad the other ones are. Alright, here's one. Allah's messenger, or Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi said, the hour will not be established till the buttocks of the woman of the tribe of Daus move while going around Zil Khalasa. Zil Khalasa was the idol of Daus tribe, which they used to worship in the pre-Islamic period of ignorance. So basically the prophecy is that the women of a certain tribe are supposed to be twerking around a certain idol for the end of times to happen. That's right, Islam literally has a twerking prophecy. Their butt cheeks need to be moving up and down around an idol, and that's how the end of time happens. You don't hear Muslim Dawah boys talking much about this prophecy. I think they're embarrassed. Anyways, that tribe doesn't exist anymore, so this prophecy doesn't make any sense. There are so many ridiculous prophecies like this. So many prophecies that did not come true. And the ones that they claim have come true are the ones like the tall building one, where they just stretch the meaning of words and show a lot of flexibility with the interpretation in a way that it matches events that actually happened. I mean, think about how pathetic the prophecy is. Some people somewhere are going to make tall buildings. Is that not offensive to Allah? Like, can Allah not do any better? You're attributing such a pathetic, weak prophecy to the creator of the universe. If I was Allah, I would be offended. I would be like, bro, do you think if I was gonna make a prophecy that was supposed to be used as proof that Islam is true, that's the prophecy I would put in my religion? Really? I created the whole universe. I created galaxies. If I wanted to impress you with a prophecy, do you think that's what I would come up with? Imagine if we had a prophecy in the Quran or in the Hadith that said someday people will discover that the speed of light is this, and it was like exact number. That would be impressive. But no, all we get is this lame attempt at a prophecy. Now some Muslims might say that, well, it's not supposed to impress you. Why would Allah impress you? Why would Allah try to impress you with his prophecies? Well then, what's the point of your prophecy? You're telling me, like, oh, look at this impressive prophecy and be impressed enough for you to believe in Islam. And then I say, well, it's not impressive enough for me to believe in Islam. It's actually lame and embarrassing and pathetic. And then you were like, well, it's not supposed to be impressive. Like, which is it then? Is it supposed to convince me because you just told me the prophecy to convince me? For it to be convincing, it has to be an impressive prophecy. Well, and if it's not meant to impress me, then why are you telling it to me? Then it's not proof of anything.
So I have to ask.
Yeah.
So I don't understand the question exactly.
He wants to know if you will convert to Islam.
No, I'm saying that. No, that wasn't.
I mean, that's the question.
Well, look, I would say
Yeah,
to
but
some
no,
degree,
but-
it's not up to me.
No,
In some
but my
sense,
question was, just to remind you, the question was, if I gave you evidence that would satisfy a certain level of probabilistic...
No.
So you wouldn't?
No, because that isn't how I evaluate the situation.
How would you evaluate that? This is the crux.
Well,
here.
I'm Muslim enough to have been invited to your mosque.
No, you're always invited, even if
No,
you're
no,
not.
but I mean this specifically.
Yeah,
I mean
yeah.
this very specifically, you know. I don't think in some sense, this is a very complicated problem.
Okay.
You know, when people meet me on the street, they'll say things like, I met a couple of Orthodox Jews in New York, and they said to me on the street that they call me rabbi, which was, it's a hell of a thing to hear.
See, this is why so many Muslims were pissed. They were really hoping that Jordan Peterson just converts to Islam right then and there. But the best he could do was cry for being called a rabbi. Anyways, Muslims for some time had really high hopes for Jordan Peterson, but now they have given up on him. And they're not so upset about it anymore because they have Andrew Tate and they're still celebrating that. I will make another video covering recent updates about Andrew Tate. If you like videos like this, make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and also leave a comment about the kind of videos you want me to make. Don't forget the notification bell. These things actually really do support us, because when you like and subscribe and leave a comment, and all the things that you press down there will feed the algorithm and makes the channel grow. So at no cost to you, you're helping the channel grow by just liking the video. So do it. You have to do it. Make sure you do it. Don't leave without liking the video. Okay? Thank you. Anyways, I have been your host, Armin Navabi. This has been the Secular Jihadists. See you in the next video.